Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world today, you are here in virtual reality space. We are a network member, a member of the Virtually Not Alone network, which means that if you're here, you're never alone when we're here. But of course, we're not always here. And even when we're here, we're not all here. But you know how that goes. I'm here with my friend Bruce, and we are going to
Thank you
talk.
very much, Lenny. Thank you very much. Love you,
We're,
bro.
we're probably going to talk about geopolitics because there's so much going on that makes
Oh my God.
absolutely no sense.
You know, and honestly, can I read you something that I just wrote?
Okay.
I just wrote it, okay, and I actually posted it, so I'm on the hook. Okay, I had already written the following: Colorado has taken Trump off the ballot, and now the Democratic government of California is exploring that same option. Does anyone think that's democratic? Are Democrats democratic? Are Republicans democratic? Is this even a republic? Is this really a democracy? Is cheating acceptable? And here's what I wrote. Here's what I added today. What's the difference between this, in big caps, THIS, this, and Stasi East Germany? Well, actually, there's a big difference. East Germany wasn't employing chemtrails to poison the environment or, change the, what they're doing. And they weren't secretly funding a policy of human genocide, and they weren't pretending to be a two-party political system in a republic that advertises itself as being a democracy. Not to mention leader of the free world and world policeman with a colossal military presence wherever they position themselves. Okay, I got two more paragraphs to go. Hang on just stay with me for a moment now. I appreciate this. We're still live, right? We're live?
We are live.
Cool. All right. So now,
Grim is with us.
so now, America is in the Med and the Red Sea and a number of other geographically relevant locations and countries. It's important to recognize that these are countries, and like Somalia, for instance, and not just some random dot on the map. And we are apparently endeavoring to start a war with Iran. I mean, this makes no sense to me at all. Okay, Russia is another matter, as is China and even North Korea, as if they're gonna sit still while the arrogant asswipes of the U.S. deep state throw their fatuous weight around. And Iran isn't a lightweight either. Don't know what the fuck the U.S. deep state is thinking, but they've got our collective brainwashed heads up their ass. Enough said. I finally wrote, although I could elaborate.
Well, after you said enough said, elaborating further means that it really wasn't enough.
Well, I mean, I could definitely write more. I mean, that's why I said that. So I said that.
Well, it's all okay. I'm the Grand Poobah, and war does not exist in my sovereign nation of Grand Poobahism.
What doesn't exist?
War?
Oh, war. Wow,
We're
really?
not at war. We're at peace. Maybe
Wow.
meditative peace. You never know. But then again, what's going on in this world isn't of my doing, and calling it our democracy is a big stretch because I don't claim any part of it. And it's a republic. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding on dinner. And there's no real, it's majority takes it and that's it.
Yeah.
But I think all politics is absurd, but we have bigger problems to deal with. If we threw away the legal system and we started with some new basic premises of what should be legal, how about starting with all laws being written in common language that everybody can understand instead of
Well,
lawyerese?
how about even more way before that? How about that we just mandate that everybody needs to be kind to one another?
Needs to be
Just
what?
be kind to one another.
Kind.
Never mind the fucking language.
Kinda.
Kind. You know fucking well what I'm saying. Kind. Be kind to one another. Never mind the fucking language.
Mm-hmm. It's
Honestly.
all difficult.
Yeah.
But what can you say? It's a world that we watch what's going on and we have to laugh or else we die crying.
Well, there is that element. You're right. There is that element. I I spend a fair amount of time weeping. I mean, I just listen to a piece of music, and that just, I'm just overcome, and suddenly I'm weeping. I might have been laughing a moment ago, but suddenly I'm weeping because of the music. I'm often laughing because of the music too.
Well, I always got to wonder, but sometimes it actually works.
What's it?
Puff, puff, pass, pass, cheers. Which I
There you
would
go.
gladly fire up right now, but I'm in a business location and it wouldn't be looked on favorably. But it doesn't mean I'm not already not stoned.
All right. Well, I'm gonna have. I got one more hit in my bowl here. Okay.
So put another bowl to the fire.
No, I'm just gonna finish this bowl first.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna use my grandfather's. I've got a match here that's already been burned.
And everybody say Om and get
Om.
ready to do
Yeah.
your thing as Bruce enlightens us.
Are we all ready? Okay. All right. This is my grandfather's lighter. Yeah. I'm not gonna get into any more of that. Ooh, baby, that's close.
And there you have it, a public stoning.
A public stoning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, at least I wasn't beheaded.
Well, we've had videos of that on this channel here recently.
What, are beheadings?
Yeah.
Really?
Somebody named Fossil came on and greeted us with a little beheading video.
Wow.
But we got
really?
it off the stage before it turned into the pornography.
Well, I mean, and I wasn't here that particular day. I don't know. You were on with other people.
Yes, I was on with Harris at the time.
Okay.
And it was sort of funny because I tried to cut it out and I managed to clip just the part that was awful and cut the whole rest of the video.
Did you say that Grizz is joining us today? Did you say Grizz?
No, I said he was in the audience. Because you see, all these comments come from audience members,
right,
like you and I.
I just got to click on the comments. There's Grim right there.
Yeah.
Well, he's calling us Lenny Bruce. That's fucking hilarious, man.
It all goes straight to the point of free speech. And if you can't say whatever the fuck you want to say when it's your station, then you just shrug your shoulders and say it anyway. Because what are they going to do? Delete all my 100 followers?
Thanks, Grizz. I'm telling you, that was a fucking stellar comment.
And this was brought to you by the Lobster Monkey Network also. I've got my Lobster Monkey hoodie on. I could even put it into hoodie
I was supposed to get some lobster. I have a friend who works at a lobster boat here out of Newport. Okay, I was supposed to get lobster for like at least 3 bugs for for Christmas. For me and my 2 kids. To
Yep.
have a really nice, a nice lobster Christmas dinner. But they went out and they got beat up by the they had 30-foot waves and I guess they ended up on the vineyard, either either Nantucket or the vineyard. They ended up I think on the vineyard, and
Gee, I hope they weren't private chefs.
well they got pretty beaten up. That's for sure. They got pretty beaten up. Jay Leno for president. Wow, how about that shit?
I don't know, maybe Tucker Carlson for president.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear that. I think there's a certain sentiment that could support that. Yeah.
Anybody who wants to be president, I watch out for.
Yeah.
It's
Roger
a
that.
thankless position. It really
Well,
is.
who the fuck wants to go through that? I wouldn't want to do it. All right, I'm committed to my country. I love this nation. Okay, but it's a nation of people. It's not a nation of fucking politicians and federal agencies. Right? So, I, yeah, Roger that.
So, if we need a new judicial system, can we get it to the point where the lawyers don't get to choose the jurors?
Now you gotta disbar all those lawyers, and you
Or
gotta
you just gotta
disbar
make them.
hang on now, and you gotta disbar the disbar, and you gotta the whole system needs to be recreated from the ground up. The whole system, everything, including the internet that we're on right now, which I'm glad we're on it, but the whole system needs to be recreated
From scratch in a different way, using what's of value and not converting value to money to buy so-called value.
Yeah, that's a good place to start, Lenny. You're right. Because the fact that you can have lobbyists, call them lobbyists, right? In our system there wouldn't even be a Congress. There wouldn't even be a U.S. Congress. There wouldn't be a House of Representatives. There wouldn't be a Senate. There wouldn't be a presidency. And I'm going to stop right there because, I could say something that is really bizarre. So, I won't.
Well, you can be the grand
so
poobah.
bizarre at all, actually. But go ahead. What'd you say?
You can become the grand poobah. I'll gladly cede that title to you.
Well, well, thank you very much. I'm not the least bit interested in being the grand poobah.
Well, all you got to do is say yabba dabba do.
Yeah, okay, yabba dabba do. I'm there.
Okay. Now go back and watch some old episodes of the Flintstones and see what you just got yourself into.
Yeah, all right.
But back when we were growing up, that was the choice. We'll either end up as the Flintstones or the Jetsons. And I really thought we were going to have flying cars and be like the Jetsons. But it sure seems like the military wants to make sure we make it back to Flintstone stage.
Well, it's an interesting analogy that you just made because you're right. I mean, those 2 TV shows were rather emblematic. So
Well, we'll drink a beer to your buddy Leonard. Invisible beer for now.
yeah, I got a glass of Bordeaux. I highly recommend the Bordeaux, but I'm just, I'm a Bordeaux guy.
Well, we're going to have some mulled wine here later on.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's already Christmas in most people's ideas. They have gotten to the point where they have gotten to the point where Friday with a Monday holiday doesn't pay to work that Friday. You're not going to get much there. So the American working week next week will start on Tuesday and end on Thursday, when have another 4-day weekend capped by New Year's Day.
Right, right, right. Well, thank God for these little moments, you know?
And that's the way it works. But
Yeah,
if we're going to change the world, I think 2022, 2023, 2024 will be the year to change the world, because I don't see the world quite making it to the November election with any sanity. You had written me earlier while we were discussing this show about the idea that Colorado has kicked Donald Trump off the ballot. And
right.
now that's all stayed because it's going before the Supreme Court. But I think it's all a distraction and a lot of nonsense.
Well, I mean, in California and Arizona are also considering the same tactic to take him right off the ballot.
Well, I'm from Florida, so I don't care what California does, but they got Ron DeSantis out there, and he's an American hero.
Yeah, well, you know, you'd think that he would be a little more vocal about this.
It's all a charade.
It's all a charade. Well, you're right. You're right. It is all a charade. Yeah.
It'll be very entertaining to see what the new year brings. But the
Wow.
last day of this year, if you write down the abbreviation of 12, 31, 23, you get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be a cool last day of the year.
So you're like Lenny. You're into numerology, apparently.
I am into old morology also.
Old numerology. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Fair enough. Hey, listen, I'm not going to argue with you about that. You know.
And then there's numeronomy, where we can talk about cardinal and ordinal numbers and the projection of numbers into space. But that gets us into sacred geometry. And if we get too far into sacred geometry, we might border on hedonism.
Heathenism.
Hedonism.
Heathenism.
Hedonism.
Oh, hedonism. Well, you know, that's why we are members of the hedonists.
That's right.
Yeah, once upon a time.
I got a dome out back, but it's filled with junk right now. It's amazing how whenever you set up space, if you don't use it immediately, it will fill with junk.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Uh-oh. My computer is telling me it wants to reboot itself.
All right, well, go ahead and reboot and reconnect.
No, I don't think I wish to. It's
All right.
just another one of those insidious micro shit updates.
All right, that could be true. Yeah. You know, I don't do it. You know, I'm. You know what I'm working on here is Windows 7.
Good for
Windows
you.
7. So you know, it's like I don't take any updates. But the last thing I want is an update, because if I take an update, it'll fuck my computer up.
Absolutely. And mine's not supposed to download its own updates on its own, but because I'm on a registered line, i.e., the phone, it won't automatically do updates. And Microsoft gets nervous when they can't automatically.
You don't even want it to be automatic, because automatic is when they download it. You know, you want to have complete control over your downloads.
Right. But they want complete control over your downloads too.
Well, of course they do, but you know, in my particular case, I'm working with Windows 7. They don't even support Windows 7 anymore.
That's right. And the fact that you can use Windows 7 is extremely awesome. But I don't know that I could use Windows 7 because the stuff I used to use Windows for is all changed.
Well, yeah, I suppose there's things that they wouldn't let you do. You know, they let me take part, and so that's a valuable asset to me, is that I can take part in let's just say your crazy shit. All right,
Well,
yeah,
we
your
can make
crazy
you
shit
use
going on.
orgone energy.
What's that?
We'll make you use orgone energy.
Oregon energy. Well, okay.
Yeah. You know what orgone energy is, don't you?
I've been to his laboratory.
Oh, Dr. Orgone?
No, no, William Reich.
Okay. We'll head
Yeah,
on.
I've been to his
Right.
laboratory in Maine. Yeah.
Well, I
Maine.
have an orgone pillow that's
Yeah.
made with organic wool and steel wool
Hmm.
layered into it,
Yeah.
and you can feel the electrons hopping when you're using it.
Yeah, they're slamming into the side of your head.
No, they just go right through. They
They go.
are
Yeah, you're
much,
right.
much smaller than anything in your body can hold back.
No, you're right. They just go right through. But I advocate the fact that I think that you can feel when they're going through. You can feel it.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So that's what I'm referring to.
Just don't use a microwave in the same room at the same time.
Ooh, watch out.
But they work pretty good if you get a cat to sit on the pillow and purr. Sort of activates all those electrons.
Mm, good. Yeah. Why not?
All right, so next on our list, anybody we want to bash that's a political figure?
No. No. I can't even think about a good reason to waste my time.
Okay. Anybody you want to bash that's a sports figure?
No. No, I don't follow sports anymore. So
Anybody you
no.
want to bash that's a Hollywood figure?
Oh, there's all kinds of options there, but I mean, I'm just gonna pass. I'll pass on that too.
Okay, then we're pretty much done with the bashing part of the show.
Yeah, yeah, we're done with the bashing. There you go. Good
Okay.
idea. Never mind the bashing. Like whatever. I mean, we can bash the shit out of all kinds of people, but like, what good would it really do?
It doesn't do any good. It just relieves some of the aggression. I mean,
Well,
some people
hopefully from
deserve
them
to be
anyway. I
bashed.
mean, I don't think we should have any aggression around that. So hopefully their
Yeah.
aggression gets a little relieved. That'd be cool. You know,
No, it's Christmas season, the time for fruits and nuts.
fruits and nuts, huh? Eh, wow, telling you. I'm glad we're live, Lenny. Glad we're
Yep.
live. Yeah.
We are live. We are the new way where we take everything we thought we knew and weigh it again because a lot of times it doesn't hold up. We have some common thought, but mostly we think for ourselves. And so you never know where we're going to stand on any issue, except you know that will desire standing in every issue.
There you go. There you go. Nicely put.
So you don't follow sports, but the
No.
Patriots this year are one of the worst teams. So they're
That's one of the
really
reasons why I don't follow sports anymore, Lenny.
because they name their teams things like the Patriots.
No, I mean, I actually I know how bad the Patriots are this year, and that's sports. Like, why should I follow sports? Once upon a time, the Pats were one of the best teams in football. Now they're just wow.
Well, I remember when you could go to a sporting event on $20 and actually get a ticket, a soda, and maybe a hot dog. Now you can't even park for $20.
Right, can't even park. Right, yeah, no shit. Well put. Because you're right. You're totally right. That is the paradigm we now live in.
It's seriously broken. When we were growing up, athletes, baseball players used to have to work in the winter so that they could make enough money to spend their summer playing ball. And then the lawyers got involved and they showed how different life was when you didn't have to work for a living. And so now athletes make millions of dollars to the point where that Japanese guy, Otani, signed with the Dodgers for $700 million
Holy
and
shit!
deferred 680 million till after he's retired.
That's cool.
So he essentially is letting them not pay him until after he's done with the game,
Well,
and
and he's letting them use their money.
so that they can sign more Japanese pitchers.
Well, yeah, of course. Why not? Why not?
Seems to be the way of the world. So, any plans for good eating this weekend?
I've already been I've already been eating really well. I'm already good eating. You know.
You
Yeah.
didn't get the lobster though.
No, I didn't get the lobster. They ran into some really heavy weather, like 30-foot waves and shit. And so those guys are all just kind of trying to sleep it off. They're all lucky that they're still alive. Seriously.
Yeah, I certainly would have looked at the weather and said, maybe I'm not going out today.
Well,
But
you aren't the only one. You aren't the only one. There's another number of other people, friends of mine, whom I've talked to about this, and they said the same thing. I wouldn't have even gone out. You know. But so these guys ended up in the vineyard, and they're all battered up, all banged up, and I mean, there's even a picture of one of the guys in the crew who's got blood all over his t-shirt. You know, there, one of the doors of the what do you call it? A cabin door just like got broken off and pulled off and gone into the ocean. Right? I mean, they got into some serious weather, and I'm glad they're okay. That's where I'm at. I'm glad they're okay.
I remember going crabbing in Tillamook Bay, and you could rent a motorboat for the day and crab pots, and you'd throw them in, drive around for an hour or two. You have fish heads that you tie into the bottom of the pot, and when you go back, you find your boy and you yank the pot out. And
the store open
okay,
because it's the only source of heat you have is out here.
okay.
I'm gonna run some errands, and if anyone comes in, just let them know I'll be right back.
Okay. Today's interruption has been brought to you by Libby.
Hi, Libby.
And so now I'm in an open door room. I got to watch what I say.
Mrs. Time.
Not quite.
That's pretty funny.
Mistimed.
Mistimed. All right, Nathaniel. That's funny. Totally funny.
So I figure that all weekend I'm going to be snacking out and having good meals. I'm going to hang out up here at the Healing Center,
Why
and
not?
we'll probably fire up the sauna and end up taking another sauna or two over the weekend.
I wish I was there with you, bro. I'd like to take a sauna. I could really use one.
Mm-hmm.
Could really use one. Hello.
All right, my good friends. I think that I've had about enough of this for today. It was good talking with you, Bruce, and it was good to
Likewise.
broadcast. And I have some other things that I wish to get to. So, everybody have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a super solstice, and do whatever it is you plan to do with relish and enthusiasm.
Nicely put, my friend. Yeah. I mean,
Stay
we've
on,
already had the solstice.
yeah,
Yeah.
stay on the station after I log out, and we'll continue talking offline for a minute.
Okay.
Everybody, be well, and we'll see you again later this weekend.